Representative Dunbar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Secretary. And unfortunately, I'm going to continue on the same line. And double, unfortunately, I do love numbers. So hopefully we can reach some type of agreement here. First off, as Representative Sonny said, everything apparently seemed to be going relatively swimmingly and well. And as Representative Swire said, you know, we had the bill that ran out, which I voted for and supported and will continue to support.
Thank you.
But I guess the real question is, where were we going? Did we just accelerate the inevitable? Because I'm looking at the different numbers that I've seen, and most of these are coming from the 4-year closure and spending plan for UC call centers that the governor's office had put out. And as I look at this, your average quarterly spending was about $47 million a quarter with all the call centers open, which is about $188 million a year, plus the $15 million for the UC Ben Mod contract, which is about $203 million a year to keep the present level that we had. With the $57 million, if we would have passed it, you would have had approximately $231 million, which would have got us through this year. But the 17-18 year, we would have been right back here anyhow. So what was the plan? And secondly, how much are you actually saving every time we close a UC center? Because the savings, I don't think, are even going to get us close to where we need to be. So we want to get back to where we were, what Rep. Sonny said. But how?
Well, let me answer that in 2 stages. The 15, or the House, so I keep calling it 2375, the House bill that the House passed that didn't make it across the finish line was what I would call a stopgap. It was not going to solve the problem. It was going to allow the status quo to continue until the General Assembly, along with the administration, figured out what kind of system do we want in the future and what do we want it to look like.
And I will agree with that wholeheartedly looking at the numbers, but I think the failure on our parts was understanding that it was just that, a stopgap.
Yes. As I mentioned in my earlier remarks, this is not a situation unique to Pennsylvania. 39 other states are on an ongoing basis using state dollars to administer their unemployment compensation system, including at the high in California this year, expecting to be 175 million state dollars put in. So what I guess I would turn back to you is, what kind of system do we want for the citizens of Pennsylvania? And I want a system that is as similar as it was on December 18th. And what I think that is going to cost is probably in the short run what it was costing us on December 18th. In the long run, I think with the computer modernization, that we will see some efficiencies. The efficiencies won't be that we won't need to rely on state dollars. The efficiencies will be probably about 10% in personnel that we think we can handle through attrition. If we want a different kind of system than what we had last year, I think we should figure that out together, because as you know now, you're the ones that get the calls even more than I do when the system isn't working the way our citizens expect it to. Yeah.
So, not to put words in your mouth or numbers either, so you're saying $50 million a year?
Well, I think in the short run, and when I'm saying the short run, not next year, but in the next 4 years, if you looked at those charts that we put together for the appropriations committees. Now, there are a lot of assumptions in those charts. The assumptions are that pretty much everything stays the same, meaning our federal dollars stay flat. They could go down, or if there's a big recession and unemployment goes way up, they could go up. It makes a lot of assumptions, but it painted a very dire picture, which was by the end of the 4 years, assuming nothing changed, we would not have any call centers where people could call in.
So what is the cost savings by closing a call center?
Can you rephrase that so I can understand what you're trying to get to?
How much annually do we save in expenditures by closing a call center? We've closed 3 of them.
Right.
So what would be the annual savings from closing
Well,
those 3 or
the-
every additional one that the governor's proposing?
You know what, without having that chart in front of me, I don't really know, because every call center is a different size and a different monetary configuration. You know, if it's in a state office building, if it's privately leased, if it's in a expensive urban area or less expensive rural area. If it we have some that have 120 people, we have some that have 80 people. So and then the people who work in those, if it's a younger workforce, their salaries are less expensive. So that's kind of hard for me to answer
Madam
that.
Secretary, as the rules that I've set up, I need to have that answer to the committee within 48 hours. What each of the call centers that were shut down cost, what the state is saving per call center, what the Lancaster Center saved, what the Altoona Center saved, what the Allentown Center saved, Department of Labor, what those real costs were. So we need those within 48 hours. Okay?
Yep.
Thank you. My time's up. Thank you.